Rick. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, Megan.
Let's get right into it because I was watching a podcast, how to do a podcast thing on YouTube, and they were like, no chitter chatter, just get right into it. Don't do any
Let's
intros.
go.
So let's
Yeah,
go. Let's
right.
dive in.
Let's do
Hot
it.
topic. My friend
Yeah.
called me this morning and we were chit chatting, and he was like, how's the real estate market? How's everything treating you? And gosh, I've seen a lot of houses sit on the market for a long time. And I said, I'm glad you brought that up because there are houses sitting on the market for a long time, but then there's about 38% of them that are not sitting on the market for a long time because these two groups of sellers have employed two completely different strategies on how to sell their home, which is obviously their red, white, and blue right to do it any which way that they want.
Sure.
When you hire a realtor, you should talk to them about what is the strategy here. Like, how fast is the house going to sell? What do we expect is going to happen? That sort of thing. And the number one path to getting the house sold, obviously, is the price. The price has to match what the house is. So just because the house has been sitting on the market a long time doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with it. It means that there is a misfire here between the price and what the house has to offer. It could be the amenities, it could be the square footage, it could be the location. People say, well, I have a really unique property, I'm looking for a very specific buyer. Okay, but the best way to do that is to, have the price right, have the photos fantastic, have the accessibility all figured out. So when people are calling on your house, that you have a plan on how it's going to be shown. Just all of the other things. But price is the top hat in this whole conversation. So when you see houses sit on the market for a long time, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with them. It means that the price and the house are not a match. Rick,
Mhm.
what do you have to say about that?
Well, I see the same thing. I mean, we talk to buyers all the time about that, and I had a talk with a buyer yesterday. They thought the house should be reduced $500,000 based on the comps.
$500,000.
Yeah, there's a $2.1 million house, fixer-upper condo,
A condo? Where is this?
Pasadena, both places, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I said it was 2.1 million, and it's a complete remodel. I mean, it's like almost original.
Wow.
And she's looking for she's waiting for the price to drop 500,000. Of course, that's an extreme example. We know that, but that's the mindset of the buyer. So they're looking for value because we're not in the market where you have to make an offer because there's like two more offers coming in. They know they might be the only offer, and depending upon how long the house is sitting on the market, that's going to play with how do we structure the offer, right? Especially to your point, if the house is not priced right to begin with, and it's sitting on the market for 30 days. And by the way, in a normal market, 30 days is like okay, but we're used to like 3 hours.
Yeah, this is Orange
Right.
County, Southern California.
Right.
Things move
So when
fast. Period.
so when a buyer sees 30 days, they're thinking something's wrong with the house. Why aren't people liking it? What's the motivation of the seller? How low can I go in the price now? So all this stuff goes on in their mind, right? So I think we have to get into the mind of the home buyer in terms of what they're thinking about the seller's house. And that may not be good or bad. It's just their thought process to get to where they want to go.
That's right, because when home buyers see houses on the market for weeks and weeks and weeks, they smell blood in the water, and they, like you said, they're looking for value. They're looking for, like, are they going to be the one person that gets a deal in their friend group on real estate during the season?
Right.
You know?
100%.
So the way to tell if your price and your house doesn't match is that one of the ways is if you get a lot of activity online. Like I'll get reports from popular on real estate websites that says, "Oh, we predict this house will sell soon," and then 4 people came to the open house and 3 of them were neighbors. Then you've got a lot of online activity, but online activity does not equal offers in your hand. It's just part of an indicator of people looking at your house, but it doesn't mean your house is going to sell right away. So if your house is overpriced, you have very little showings. You might have a lot of online activity, but no offers in your hand, and pretty quiet open houses. If you've got less than 10 people and 7 of them are neighbors, you know, you might be overpriced. You might need to adjust.
Yeah, I mean, that first week, you're probably gonna get a lot of people who are just curious about their neighborhood and what's going on. So that you're right that there's not equal motivated buyers, that just equals people that are curious.
Yeah, and
And
there's a
that's why they
saying, and
enjoy
the
the
saying,
proper concert.
and the saying is, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression.
Mhm.
So that's why we always like to beat this drum constantly, is get
We do.
prepared, know what your strategy is going in, so that you can have the best launch that you can possibly have,
Mhm.
and that includes pricing it well. And also, what I've noticed, another trend is that homes that are in move-in condition, that really aren't going to require a lot of work, are selling right away. So even if you have something that is not super fresh, you might go around and see how you could freshen things up for, whatever your budget's going to be. Or
Right.
even, a deep clean, a really deep clean, just make it look like somebody cares about it. Even our fixers that we have, we
Mhm.
suggest always, like, let's do a clean out, let's get the landscaping trimmed, let's do a deep clean, and just make it
Right.
look like somebody gives a hoot.
Makes sense. Makes a
Yeah,
lot of
and
sense.
especially with the interest rates. We were talking yesterday, and you said that interest rates have been on a roll in the wrong direction for over a week, right?
Well, about 3, 4 weeks now, about 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so they've been going sort of up, up, up. And so
Mhm.
that also affects, if you started your house off too high in the first place and now the interest rates are going up, like, you have to know what's going on in the market, and you have to make a quick adjustment. Or don't do anything. Your house might not sell. And, you know, it's your prerogative. You could keep it as a rental. You could call your tax person and see what the implications of that would be, that sort of thing. If you sold in 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years, when does it turn into a capital gains, deal? If you're going to sell it in 3 years, don't bother, just sell it now, because you're going to have to put all new stuff in it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think what I'm seeing on my side a lot is that buyers are right now very payment sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing to go to is what's the payment. If the payment is too high, they're going to walk away automatically. Even if they don't want to, at that point, try to get a lower price, because already in their mind they realize the house might be too expensive. Well, if it was priced right and we're offering the right terms of the offer, they might think it was more affordable. So, for example, you could look at buy down offers, things that you can do as a seller sometimes to make that house more enticing in terms of the payment. We've got tools we're working with right now on my side where we're actually showing buyers how to get those lower payments right now. And if the seller is motivated, you throw some concessions in there, which I'm seeing more of, that makes it more attractive to a home buyer to make an offer, even though we have prices. Listen up, we know this already. Housing is a high price right now. There's nothing that's like a steal. There's no steals.
Right.
Everything's at a higher level. So what has to happen to make those buyers think, well, this house is really affordable long term?
Yeah.
And so we have to look at that, I think, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's a whole, like, if you find a house and you're in love with it, but you're not in love with the price, and there's no other offers, and, you too as a buyer need to employ a strategy. It's like, if you're not going to be ridiculous about, like, this $500,000, I don't know if it's ridiculous or not, but it seems like the condo you referred to earlier was like, holy cow, that's, like, not going to happen probably. But, if you're if you're a buyer and you're like, yeah, the house is overpriced, but I like it, how can we, put something together? Then work with your realtor and your loan officer and come up with
Yeah,
a
there's
strategy.
options.
Yeah, to make the
Yeah.
house affordable. Maybe, the seller, like you said, can do some buy down points. You can get them into some kind of aggressive program, and, it could work. So don't
For
throw the
sure.
baby out with the bathwater. If you like it, it's a little overpriced, get with your
Start with
realtor and
it.
come up with a plan. Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the right plan, you have the right strategy, you know what the numbers are, then you can approach it from a level that says, okay, here's where we're at, and what can we do to kind of meet in the middle sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Or it works for everybody.
Yeah, I like it. Well, Rick, I think that that's some good advice for today. Everybody that wants to know what's going on in the market, that's what's going on. Houses are high. Some are very sellable. Some sit on the market. Interest rates are going up, but there's solutions for you. So,
For sure.
in a
Hey,
simple,
look, we know it never moves in a straight line, that much we know.
yeah, exactly.
So listen, I wish we could say rates would stay at a certain level all the time. They don't. So we have to just work with that, but it's just normal ebb and flow in the market, and long term, we're going to be fine. We always have been, by the way. We know history shows that.
Right. Yeah, it's not anything new for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate you. We'll see you
Thank
next
you,
week.
Megan. I'm sorry.